we honor high school student Luke Gillespie for his academic achievements.
Well, Mr. Gillespie. I had to write a note because there's so many things to talk about with Luke. And I've known Luke for the last 3 years. His mom used to work here with us too as well. We're glad she's back. If she wants to stay, that's cool too. Just FYI. But no, we're here to talk about Luke. And I'm going to read this because there's just, I couldn't remember it all. I'm not as smart as him. So this is why he's here and I'm announcing. So Luke Gillespie has been named a National Merit Finalist. It's one of the most prestigious academic honors awarded to high school seniors in the United States. National Merit was established in 1955, and it recognizes students who demonstrate exceptional academic achievement, outstanding PSAT performance, strong ACT scores, and they offer comprehensive scholarship applications supported by school recommendations and academic record. Each year, about 15,000 students nationwide are selected as finalists from the pool of semifinalists, placing them among the top performing students in the country. Finalists are eligible to compete for multiple scholarships, go on and on about scholarships, and it continues. However, Luke's achievement is particularly significant for Bethany High School, as only 5 students in the school's history have reached that level of National Merit Finalist since the program began in 1955, placing him among an exceptionally small and distinguished group of scholars from the Bethany community. Beyond academics, Luke is an active leader and a dedicated student servant. He serves as the Key Club Treasurer. I put president, but I knew it was something. Key Club Treasurer, where he helps organize service opportunities and encourages fellow students to give back to the community. Luke is also accomplished in the performing arts as a member of the orchestra and band program, while earning, just last week, superior ratings in the state solo and ensemble contest. In addition to his academic and extracurricular achievements, Luke also recently completed the Certified Nursing Assistant program at Francis Tuttle Technology Center and is now a licensed CNA, demonstrating his commitment to service and interest in the healthcare field. I, along with all Bethany High School and Bethany Public Schools, are proud to celebrate Luke's outstanding accomplishments. His leadership, academic excellence, artistic talent, and dedication to serving others represents the very best of Bethany community, and we look forward to seeing the impact he'll have in the future. You gotta talk now, big guy. You're up.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
That's well done. Great
job. Item 4, honor Teacher of the Year for each school.
Let's start with elementary school.
Hello, come on up here, Mrs. Troyer. She is our elementary teacher of the year. I'm sure all of you know Mrs. Troyer because she has such a history of.
I'm old.
She her love of Bethany supersedes her, but she's just amazing. Her heart for kids, our staff, our families, like it is above anything I've ever seen. And so even this week she was calling me saying, hey, I have an idea of how I can support tutoring and how I can adjust this. What about this? And just, it's so creative because she wants to support our kids and families and just wants to see them succeed. But I know that she loves to talk, and I would love to hear
about Bethany. I will talk about
it.
Bethany. And I will probably cry too, so just get ready for it. But thank you so much. I love the school. And okay, I'm already starting. But the most important thing I love about it, and this may be cliche, but we're a community and we work together. From the administration to the teachers to the kids. Everybody works together and supports each other. And I'm really gonna get through the whole speech even though I'm crying about it, because I'm so proud of this school. And I love the way the high school comes over to the elementary and they mentor kids, and we have an all-school musical, and I can't even tell you all the things, the Key Club, and they come over and help the elementary kids, and they look up to them, and I just love all that stuff. I love how supportive you all are of the administration and the administration and the teachers. And I could talk for a million years about Bethany, but I'm also proud of, I made a few notes. That we don't just stay in our classrooms in the four walls. We wear all different kinds of hats, and we just do what needs to be done. And I love the school. Did I say that? I love the school. I also, most importantly, I love the kids. And I love that we don't just put them in a box. If they like sports, fine, but if they don't, we have other opportunities for them. We have art. We have cooking contests at the elementary. We have all different things that they can do, debate, chess, anything that they're interested in. We encourage that. We teach the whole child, not just academics. We teach citizenship, the Bronco way for sure, and all of those things. And I just love that about us. And that allows them to take the path less traveled, and that makes all the difference. So.
Sure.
That's hard to follow. Now, I will tell you that I will speak for her because she looked at me and I thought she was going to start crying whenever Mrs. Sawyer started a speech. So she's like, please don't. So this is Paige Dillard. She is a third-year math teacher for us. She teaches 6th and 7th grade math, and we are lucky to have her. She came from UConn. I asked some kids today, she was out today, and I said, tell me some things that you love about Mrs. Dillard, and they're like, we love her class, she's kind, she's caring, she's always willing to help. And then one kid said, and she shows up to our ball games. And I think that right there tells you what Mrs. Sawyer was trying to say, is that at Bethany is just different, and teachers come and support the kids, and that's just something really cool. Also, we're glad to share, it's Eden's birthday today. She's sharing her mother with us today. But as a leader going by her classroom every day, every hour, she's engaged with the kids, she's built relationships with them, she's always up moving around, and it's just, she is very deserving of this award, and we're proud she's part of middle school.
Congratulations.
Senor Hawk. I need you to come stand up here with me. Come on. So this is Senor Hawk. I'm a man of a lot of words sometimes, but for this occasion, I don't have a lot. And the reason I don't have a lot is because Mrs. Hawk has been here for 3 years with us, and she is the apple of the high school. I don't know how else to say it. I mean, she comes to every event we go to. She is cheering louder than everybody, a lot of times in Spanish, so I don't understand her. But it is absolutely amazing to see the climate and culture she builds, and the kids know it. They ask to go to her class. They want to see Senor Hawk. They want to be around her. Her energy is palpable, and she's just somebody that I couldn't be happier that was chosen by our staff as the Bethany High School Teacher of the Year, and she's just an amazing person. I'm glad she's here.
Thank you.
Say it in Spanish.
No.
Yo estaba pensando desde ya de la escuela. Thank you so much for hiring me, because this is an amazing place, and I just haven't looked back. Have not looked back. So thank you, Heather, for telling me that.
You're welcome.
To not be loyal over your own. What was it that you said?
At your own expense.
At your own expense.
True.
And I'm loyal. I'm a loyal employee. Don't get me wrong, but I'm saying this to get me to come here, because I was afraid to come. I right? I mean, I was there forever. And I'm so glad to be here, and so glad to be a part of this staff, this culture, this everything. And that's, I could talk forever, but I'm also afraid of the weather. So thank you for having us so much.
Congratulations.
We love your kids. We love your kids. Make it some more.
Well, I want to say, Luke first. You know, we're so proud of you, and you know, you've accomplished so much. A lot of kids, you know, we'd be proud of just one of these things, and you just keep on adding to the resume. And we always look forward to seeing what the future holds for our kids when they graduate. But man, your future is now in a lot of ways, and so proud of you for accomplishing so much even before you graduate and leave. So congratulations there. And then teachers, again, selected by your peers. very good representation of the quality of teachers we have, and it's so important because we do have some of the best teachers, and so to be standing here and to be able to honor you in this way, and just to see how you guys represent Bethany and to hear you talk about Bethany, it is what our staff is all about helping each other, supporting each other, but more so being here for kids. And I know with all three of you, kids love you guys. They do. They talk about it. So thank you so much for representing us and continuing to represent us every year. But thank you for coming tonight. Let us honor you. So thank you very much. And I'm sure you guys are going to want to beat the weather. So we will let you guys do that. You're welcome to stay, but if you'd like to go, you may go at this time as well.
Luke is also class officer. I just wanted to say that.
Luke is also class officer.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
It's hard to keep up.
Happy birthday.
Keep up with
Yes. Sorry, I couldn't let that go.
All right, item 5, discussion of digital scoreboard project fundraiser and community partnerships.
All right, so this is just a discussion item, and I want the board to feel free to ask any questions. This is an idea that we want you to hear, give feedback. It's not something that we've implemented just yet, but we are looking at implementing it very quickly, and I'll explain a little bit more about that. But, you know, for a while we've talked about and really analyzed our activities and our revenue for our activities. Mr. Jasper and I, along with Mr. Martineau and the principals, we've really tried to find ways that reasons why activities cost so much. And it's across the board. It's not just Bethany, but certainly at Bethany we have our own challenges. And so we hear about the many fundraisers kids are having to participate in every sport. And then it's still costing money for kids to participate in our sports. And we know there's probably never going to be a full answer to that, to just say, hey, it costs nothing, but it is more than we are comfortable with it being right now. And so we've been trying to figure out how do we, one, find ways that we're not being efficient. We talked about that a little bit with this board about travel and where we're going. And but we have another idea that we think solves two problems. One is it's a digital scoreboard, and you know, these are common now, really, but they're not cheap either. And so that is something that we would love to have as a game day experience. We'd love to have it at school for assemblies. We would love to, you know, it's just a different type of atmosphere than a projector that we have, you know, on the wall that works sometimes, you know, and sometimes it doesn't these days. And so we wanted to accomplish that goal, but also we want to be able to generate revenue specifically for our activities so that we can bring down the cost of activities for our parents mainly. And if that means we can minimize from 3 fundraisers to 1 fundraiser or whatever, that would be great. And so we kind of came up with an idea that if we got a scoreboard, we could also use that to advertise. And if we advertise, we can go out and we can ask for commercials, for sponsorships. The problem that we continue to run into is who's going to do that? Who has time to stop what they're doing, go out, sit down with business and business owners and have the deep conversations about what the options are, how it might benefit them and us mutually. Those things take a lot of time. We've had some companies who have come to us and said, we will buy your scoreboard and all we need is your permission to go get the marketing for you, but we're going to keep most of the profits of that. Well, we know if that's a business model to them, they're probably doing pretty well off of that. And we would rather, right now, not give that away. We would rather find a way to do it ourselves so that we're the one making the money. And most of those deals, it's like the first 2 years, they're going to pay for the boards, but it's like a 7-year agreement. And so 5 through 7, they're pretty much making most of the money. We don't want that. We want to be able to do this ourselves so that we're making the money to alleviate some of that cost to our parents. So we've had some conversations, honestly, with the foundation and just working with them. They want to partner with us, but we still felt like we need a point person, somebody who will take it by the horns and just go have those conversations. At the same time, Mrs. McCann came to me and just said, you know, graduation requirements have changed a little bit, and so, you know, kids don't have to have as much art as they used to have, and my class sizes are getting a little bit smaller, and I really have a lot of experience, things that I would love to do something more for Bethany. And she had already talked to the foundation and I about the Partners in Education, and already worked towards getting some sponsorships, so she had some experience there, and we were able to just put the two together pretty quick. You know what, maybe you could be that person for us to spend some of your, if you don't need as many art classes, spend some of your schedule to be the person to call people, create some good documents that can start those conversations, and then the contracts even to then move forward with actual investments and things that companies would make. So I kind of tasked her with, let's play around with this. Why don't you kind of look around and figure out what that might look like. So she has put together some documents for you guys, but I really want her to also be able to talk to you just about some of the ideas. Now, none of these are set in stone at all. This is probably a month and a half worth of just some conversation back and forth. It's very, I would say very raw. She's done a great job with it, but it's not final. So if there is anything on here that you're just not sure about or question, we want to hear about it, because there may be some things that we're still going back and forth on as well. We have kind of tasked the start with the scoreboard and focusing on that, because you're going to see there's other branches to this that could go a lot further, but right now we want to get that win. We want to get something that's solid that we can implement right away, that we can benefit from, and then go from there. So, Mrs. McCann, if you would, please talk to us a little bit about some of the thoughts you've had, some of the documents that you have, and again, just some of the ideas that you've kind of come up with and how those might work in this plan.
All right. So it doesn't seem like it fits to have a high school art teacher of 21 years working for the athletics department, because I don't know a lot about sports, but I do know a lot about fundraising, because that's what art has to do. So going from a class program that's 100% consumable, that's not usually funded very well, you get resourceful and you establish contacts and resources and relationships. And so that is one of the things that I'm passionate about. And so that's what, I came to Dr. Bellows and I was like, if there ever comes something open, that might fit with this is what I love. And I can see the future with the incoming freshman class not having a fine arts credit to graduate required of them. Things might be shifting, and I don't like that. Anyway, so that was kind of, he's like, well, since you put it that way, would you be interested in this? Absolutely. Idea generation is what I do in my sleep. And so, as he said, these are just ideas. And in our last meeting where I kind of shared them with him, I was like, there were a lot more pages to it. And I was like, what about this idea? What about this idea? And he said, I can see my role is to keep you grounded. I said, I need that, and I do need that. But my role is to think outside of the box, and what can we do, and just to go out and find that information and find those resources and make those contacts and stuff. And so, as Dr. Bellows said, the initial start of it is getting the scoreboards. Thank you. You're good. Is getting the scoreboards, and that's something that Mr. Jasper and Dr. Bellows are working on, and with Mr. Martineau and everybody. And so my role in this part is how can we reimburse the district, or wherever we're going to be finding those funds from, because we can't start pulling from a pile that we don't have. And so our big goal in the initial is to reimburse the district for the funds that they have put into the purchase and installation of this scoreboard. And as you said, they're not cheap, and so we've kind of figured out 2 different categories for where we're going to start these kind of campaigns, and one of them is going to be for finding sponsors and advertisers. And so those would be people that would be advertising at our games. And so one of the things that people don't realize is we have 72 home basketball games in our high school gym on average each season, 72, and 42, something like that, volleyball games. So we have a lot of teams between middle school and high school that have the home games here. So that's over 110 games that happen in our gym. And if companies and community members and people begin to realize the opportunity that they've got with a captive audience, You know, the power that we can help with exposure and even helping connect our families with resources that they might be looking for. Then that's kind of the first part of that under the advertising, and it's broken down into the ads and sponsorship. And so on the next pages, I'll kind of touch on briefly what those might look like. And then the other side, let me go back. The first side is definitely more for like middle range businesses to corporations, because it is expensive, but we're still feel like we're pricing ourselves under a market value, and you know we realize we are a smaller school and maybe a smaller audience, but there's still some incredible opportunities there. The other side, like that's labeled legacy, is more geared towards individuals, and such as families and alumni and community members and sponsors, and the smaller businesses that still want to support Bethany, but maybe out of their budget to do some of the larger opportunities. So these are some of the ones that we have in place, is creating a legacy wall. We've been working in the high school gymnasium hallway on modernizing it with our displays and making them digital. So that leaves a lot of free space with the bulletin boards that were there and all of the plaques and things. And so we're not talking about taking over all that space, but even a small space. If you're counting bricks by having plaques put on them, it's a lot of bricks. And it adds up really fast, because I went and counted. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of money. And then sponsoring a seat. A lot of gymnasiums and other facilities have a little, you know, tag attached to their seat or under the seat, you know, like would be our case because we don't have seat backs. And so it doesn't necessarily reserve a seat, but a family member or you know, a player or an alumni or somebody can have a seat, you know, with their name on it for the next oncoming years. We can decide, you know, those kind of things later as we go. And then the last one, inspire an athlete. Our locker rooms, like I went into the home girls locker room, and they're really nice. They're beautiful wooden lockers and stuff, and they've got shelves, and on it they've got, you know, the athlete's name. And we were talking about how cool would that be to leave an inspiring motivational quote for that athlete, as a parent, as a coach, as a friend, as a teammate, as a grandparent, you know, anybody, you know, what would that message be that that athlete is going to see every time they go to their locker and they get their stuff and they get ready for a game or they get ready for practice and stuff. I told Dr. Bellas, I know what my dad would have said, and it makes me emotional because he's gone, but it would have been, any job worth doing is worth doing well. My dad said that to me all the time. So I try to live that, I try to do that. So back to the advertising. This is one idea of looking for about 10 MVPs, most valuable partners. And so 10 kind of brings it into a more reasonable number, because we've got on average, get back to my notes, 8 basketball nights, counting a high school night and a middle school as one, even though they're on different nights. And then 6 for volleyball. And so if you had somebody, a company that said, I want to be the sponsor of one of those game nights, I want to be one of your most valuable partners, then they would pay a certain amount, and they would get all these special things as far as their logo on the scoreboard, mentioned throughout the game by the announcer, things like that. Our digital scoreboard, we've been told, runs better if it's used more, that you don't want it to sit not functioning, and that's when it begins to break down and deteriorate. But the more it runs, the more optimal it is. And so being able to utilize that in all kinds of ways is kind of what we're looking for. So there's a breakdown for volleyball, for basketball, if they wanted to do a multi-sport and do, you know, fall season and spring season, there's, you know, a discount for, you know, combining. And then a tournament sponsor, we talked about that maybe in the future. We don't currently host a basketball tournament, but we do currently host a volleyball tournament. So there's some possibilities once this program kind of gets its feet wet, it gets running and gets a name for itself, then I think hosting a tournament is something that's very easily doable and would benefit our coaches and players, not having to travel to another out of the city tournament, and hosting one here, and would benefit our school and our advertisers. So at the game, some of the moments we talked about, like every time a 3-point shot is made, it's a swaddly switch or something like that. Or if they're up on the free throw and they make a bank first bucket, you know, and so those kind of things, you know, announcers yell out, and you've got a little graphic that flashes on the screen and stuff like that. People love that, players love that. It becomes synonymous with your team and your game and your night and the hype of it all, and businesses love that. And so, you know, how cool would that be if a business said, you know what, I want to be the, you know, timeout sponsor, you know, of a timeout. And, you know, this timeout brought to you by blah, 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 you know, on cue or whatever. And so there's some options there and the kind of logistics of that. Similar for volleyball. And I did have to email Coach Saylor and Coach Cagle and went, I don't know terminology. what is an ace? What is a block? Anyway, so they gave me a quick rundown of the best game moments that get the most hype and that kind of stuff. And so from that point, you know, kind of pitching it to the business, I'm like, okay, now I know what it is. I can put a spin on it. And then for fan engagement, who doesn't love it at the Thunder games and stuff where they throw the t-shirts out to the crowd or you know, something that can get the audience hyped up, or the halftime free throw shot, you know, where they say if the student can make this shot, they get $25 gift certificate to our, you know, restaurant, and we give Bethany athletics, you know, $20, $5 or whatever. So some opportunities there as well. So that's kind of the game moments breakdown, which is different than the most valuable partner. It's just a way to allow additional businesses in. And then a tournament sponsor, like I said, something for the future, not something we probably want to do right away, but could also be really profitable for us. You know, I talked to Coach Cagle because she already does a volleyball tournament here, and we talked about, you know, what kinds of things could we do that would benefit you and not take away from what you already do. We don't want to hurt our coaches and teams in the process of building something else. And then in talking to Coach Saylor, he said we would love it if we could do a tournament here. It would keep us from having to travel to one of the 3 that we're required to attend. He said, but we lose money on paying the reps. He said, even with the income from, you know, ticket sales and stuff, he said we can't afford the reps. And so I'm like, if, you know, that was covered out of the sponsors, the refs, you know, and you keep the ticket sales and the team entry fees, he goes, that would be amazing. Anyway, and he said we would love that. And so knowing that the coaches are open to that, that's something that we could look at and establish in the future as a possibility. And then community sponsors. So this is kind of more the smaller, you know, ads.
It's weather alert.
Better check.
Haven't got mine yet.
Tornado warning?
That's a warning.
Yeah, where it's a forward.
Oh no. It's a tornado warning.
For this county? Yes.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
We probably need
we'll
to
take that.
Move to the storm shelter. Glad we have it.
Where's it at?
Ms. Chavez, I know you've got parent-teacher conferences, so you probably need to head that way and
Sounds okay.
get that organized as well.
This says Yukon 638.
Yeah, it's east of here. It's
Oh,
we're like-
West of here?
You mean
West of here.
Yeah,
West.
sorry, west of here.
that means it's coming our way.
Yeah.
Sorry, mine was slow.
No, it's a new one.
You got it twice.
Double.
Delayed.
With the
You got an
notes,
Android?
I have never had to close them myself. Is that what we
Mr.
would like to
Mont-
happen
If
at
only
this
there was
point?
a facilities guys.
I'm trying to bring. Thank you. I don't have the keys.
What do you think, Dr. Bellows? Do you want me to go on? Do you want me to go faster? Do you want me to pause?
I mean, what do you, are y'all seeing?
Yeah.
I think the sirens are going.
I'd rather.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
Sirens are
Oh,
outside
yeah.
going off?
Yeah.
There we go. That, I think that
Yes,
answers
they
it.
are.
I'm gonna
Alright,
take
so
my
Mrs.
computer.
Bogart, make note.
I gotta call Curtis.
Fine, I'm gonna write it right here.
Yeah, tell him to come in the backyard. Yeah.
So maybe you could just say that too, so I have.
We're calling this meeting back to order. It is 7:28 p.m. Due to weather. But I will be leaving and we'll be handing it over to Kent Wellstead.
Perfect. Very good. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, well.
It's all good. You've got the packet and all that stuff. You can see it. We really pretty much covered everything except the bus branding like NASCAR. I was very excited to pitch that one to you guys. But there are really some good ideas in there. And when you kind of lump it all together, just by my estimate, it's over $750,000 that we could potentially raise. And not all at once, but over time. And so I think there's a lot of possibilities that we could harness there. So that's awesome.
Any questions from the board or?
How much is a scoreboard?
We've met with a few different companies. We've got one down to around, it was in the 80s.
80,000?
Yeah. Depending on, we wanted to have this discussion and see what everybody thought. It depends on your image quality and stuff, like the spacing of the LED lights. But for a pretty good board, that's about where we landed.
What's the size of it? Just curious about the size. What would we look at replacing it where currently where the projector screen is, or would we put it where the existing big scoreboard is?
Yeah, so actually in a perfect world where the big scoreboard is, we would replace that with the digital board.
Okay.
And on the opposite side, ideally we would actually replace that with a smaller digital board so they're synced up.
Yeah.
We also in all of this have to get shot clocks. And so we're looking at all those things. So that's a new one next year.
Yeah.
So we're kind of looking at all those options. One good thing about this plan is we don't have a scoreboard purchased. We don't have a PO for one. The idea is that Mrs. McCann would be able to begin right now, right after spring break, talking to companies with the commitment of, if we can secure some of these things, and we're pretty much committing to getting one, which we feel would be good anyways, but we have time between now and even through summer to really see what we can bring in from this, and then kind of go from there before we actually make the purchase and go with that. So the reason we're kind of even presenting this now versus the summer is we believe that Ms. McCann, and she's gung-ho, she may be able to go talk to people now and start to tell us a little bit more about what we're actually going to be able to generate. So.
Yeah.
Is there any value left in the current screen that we have where we could sell it, or would we repurpose it for another location?
We've kind of talked about both. We don't know how much value, but I would love to see, just to help, possibly for it to go towards this if we did end up going this route. So.
And are you thinking about the projector screen, or? Yeah. I don't think that is really going to have a lot of value. We have thought about repurposing the scoreboard in the main gym to the elementary gym, but it has a lot of extra things around it, and that would be way too much for the elementary gym, but we could use the core center of that and use that there. So we could repurpose a little bit, but really that stuff is outdated already, and it's not in good shape either, so I doubt we would get much from that.
Did we put a new scoreboard at the football field?
We haven't since I've been here. I want to say, I know it folded.
Practice field. The practice field.
Oh, the practice field. You talking about the practice field?
Yeah.
Oh, yes,
right.
yes.
Because, that's SNU's other one.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, yes.
Yeah, our practice field, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Did we put one in there?
We did, yeah.
Does it have the possibility of to put sponsors in it?
We didn't on that one. That one, the wind had folded and basically destroyed.
The other one?
The other one, and we had to replace it relatively quickly. And so we pretty much just replaced it with a like as what we had. And also because insurance didn't cover that.
Because I really love your presentation. I think it's awesome. I think it's needed. I think it brings us forward in so many ways. But one of the things was like the multi-sport sponsorship MVP, you're really just talking 2, right?
Well, the most you could have for a multi-sport would be 6 because there's 6 volleyball games. So you would
No, I
still
know
have
that
4.
2 sports.
Yes. With possibly cheer stunt too,
Oh,
because
yeah.
they also have competitions in our gym.
Yeah, I gotcha.
But I didn't put them in the main calculations, but yes, they are also
It
there
would be
as well.
great to, have a sponsorship that included, the field, too.
Yeah,
you know.
we-
I mean, cause you could, have a little bit heftier, and you're covering really all sports, out at the football field. That
Yeah.
might be a thought. I mean,
Well, and this
especially
is-
if you raise that kind of money, you might have enough money to put something like that out the football field.
Yeah.
So you think like I do.
Yeah,
So-
that is right. So Ms. McCann is definitely on board with that and has a ton of ideas. One thing that, because of the timing of, wanting a digital board and needing to get that covered, I have, told her, let's focus on that. Let's do that well. Let's do that right. Let's get a win there. And then,
I see.
and then that revenue's coming in. We can expand to other things. But I just fear that if we branch too much, we might not do anything well.
Yeah,
and
I agree with walking before you ran.
Yeah.
We've sponsored stuff, all school stuff, not at this school, but at other, schools, where it was all sports and activities. And it gave us a huge range of advertising opportunities, so, and it wasn't just sports, it was other activities too, so.
Yeah.
It really was a good bang for the buck, I
Yeah,
think.
I agree.
You're speaking her language.
It's all in there. Like I said, I only presented, I think, 10 pages to Dr. Bellows. My notebook has 41 pages in it. So and then we only shared 6, and one of them's a cover page with you guys. So yeah, we've got lots of ideas. But like Dr. Bellows said, want to see what is the most feasible, the quickest, and
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
kind of figure things out with the technology too and everything, and then kind of work our way. But I think it has long-term feasibility and sustainability, and to benefit our families and our coaches and our
Oh, yeah.
students, to not just improve our facilities, but to improve our programs and to alleviate a lot of the financial burden that our families have. So.
Yeah, I think it's great.
Yep. Thank you, Ms.
Thank you, Ms.
McCann.
Thank
McCann.
you.
Thanks for being here.
I would also just say on the price, that could change, that's kind of the
yeah.
range.
Ballpark. Yeah.
Depending on how, they can also do things with making it more resistant and stuff, and that would add to the cost, and so, but that's a ballpark.
Okay.
That's good.
Thank you. All right, thanks for that discussion. Item 6, which is our consent agenda. Discussion and possible action to approve the minutes of the regular meeting held on February 10th, 2026. Anyone have any questions about that? Any comments, changes, additions, deletions? Item 6B, discussion of possible action to approve the district's capacity of students in each grade at each school site as represented.
That is just same. We haven't changed the capacities. We don't have capacity for transfers for the fourth quarter, so that's just staying.
The only one I noticed was that we were even at third grade, 114, 114. It was the only one that we were straight across the board. So in the event, that wait list would come into effect, correct?
Yes, now at this point, because this is our last quarter,
Okay.
we really, even if we drop to 113, we could wait until we see how it ends up before we have to report in the summer. And so if we have options, we could take one if we wanted to.
Okay.
But we would have a window to be able to say, well, let's wait and make sure someone doesn't move in, because we've had that happen before too. In fact, I think this grade maybe has actually dropped before, and a week later someone moved in. So, but it is right there, so you're correct.
And we have someone enrolling next week in third grade.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
There you go.
Ironic.
There you go. So we'll be one over at that point. Anyone have any questions about the counts?
Nope.
When you look at 1748, where we're at, versus 1579, that's quite a bit, isn't it?
It is. I will say
We're feeling okay about it, though. I mean, as far as
400.
yeah, and really, honestly, those numbers are pretty conservative. The 1579 is not a realistic number. That's not an ideal number. That's a number that we just don't want if I'm being real, we don't want to bring transfers at this point in the year because there's no benefit to bringing transfers. We
Right.
will not get money for them,
Right.
so there's really no benefit. So we lower those numbers just so we don't have to add students.
Yeah.
Excellent. Item 6C, discussion of possible action to approve the following contracts/agreements fiscal year 26A. Item is Bledsoe, Hewitt, and Gullickson Certified Public Accountants, PPP or PLLLP contract for financial audit of Bethany Public Schools for the 2025-26 school year, senior trip bus agreement. Any questions about those two contracts? Should the financial audit, is it 25-26 school year, or should it be 26-27 school year?
No, so our audit, actually Mrs. Tovar asked me the same thing. Our audit is for this year, for
Okay.
2025,
Oh,
2026.
when they do the audit
Yeah,
will be for the.
It kind of
yes.
happens, like they'll finish it up
Okay,
in 26, 27, but it's for this current school year.
okay.
So-
Thanks for that clarification. Anyone have any questions about any of that? Senior trip to Branson once again?
It's classic.
All right. Item 6D, discussion of possible action to approve the following contracts/agreements for fiscal year 27. Middle school yearbook agreement. Item B, middle school OSP contract. Item C, elementary yearbook agreement. Item D, high school yearbook agreement. Item E, ADPC accounting software license. Item F, elementary school OSP contract. And item G, SLP conference speaker. Questions? Can someone speak to the SLP conference speaker, please?
Yeah, so we host SLP conference. We talked about that a little bit. The board meeting's become a huge,
Cali, right?
yeah, become a huge statewide PD, probably known as the PD to go to, and they want to make sure they're bringing in the best speakers to continue to make it. It's a not even a break-even cost. We make money, so this will pay for itself as far as that goes. So just what they bring in for the conference, they pay the speaker for.
Awesome,
Like
love
to
that for the
secure the
district.
speaker as early as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome, all right. Item 6E of the consent agenda, discussion and possible action to approve the following out-of-town, out-of-state overnight trips. Item A, Poetry Out Loud National Championships in Washington, D.C., April 27th through 30th of 2026. Speech and Drama Debate State Tournament in Tulsa, Oklahoma, April 17th and 18th, 2026. What an honor for all expenses paid trip to Washington, D.C.
Mm-hmm. And
That's great.
Sarah Wheatley, just awesome job to make it. So it's-
That's great.
Does Mr. Baker need a chaperone on that trip? I'd love to. Anyone have any questions about that? All right. Item 6F, approve the additions to the following activity funds account. Item 1, Cancer Fund 915. Questions, comments, anyone? Item 6G, approve the financial fund reports.
Okay, so starting off with the activity fund, you'll notice there's an ending balance of $663,000. That's lower than the beginning balance. Beginning balance is, that number always stays the same. It's what we started out with the beginning of the year. But that's normal for this time. We have some activities that are still going on but about to end, so still spending money. And then all our spring sports are ramping up. So that's typically when they're ramping up at the beginning of their seasons is where they're spending a lot of their money. On the function summary report, so we're doing really good on our budget. We've started out with an $18.4 million budget. Sometimes you try to set that number. We do not want to spend $18.4 million, but you also don't necessarily want to have to amend the budget at this point in the year. I think we're doing good. I don't foresee any reason we would have to do that. There will be some changes that we start doing as you're closing down POs that maybe they just weren't gonna get used, or all of them didn't get used. And so we'll start closing those down. And also try to get an idea of where we're at carryover wise, because you can only carry over so much. But doing really good on our budget. And then lastly, I would talk about our tracking sheet. This really starts to get pretty important at this point, because that goes into predicting how much money are you going to receive by year end, so that you can make those decisions. I think we're on a pretty good track to collect what we're expecting. I don't want to say that we're going to collect more just yet. It's a little early to tell that, but everything is looking good. And if you look at what was collected at this point and to June last year, I think we're in a good spot. So doing good there. Any questions for me on the financials?
No. Any questions, anyone?
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Here's a second.
Palmer,
Yes.
Yates,
Yes.
Wallstead.
Yes. Item 7, approve the general fund non-payroll encumbrances for fiscal year 26, numbers 430 through 466 for $18,630.69. The fiscal year 26 change orders for general fund $10,162.41. The general fund payroll $70,000 through $7,637 for $13,477,127.69. And the fiscal year building fund non-payroll numbers 22 and 23 for $2,950.
So there's a few I would just point out to you guys, just because I like to go over the bigger ones. There's PO 438 to educational electronics. Mr. Jewell, all the principals do their budget a little bit differently. They're allocated money at the beginning of the year, and Mr. Jewell allocates his to the different departments. And so what this is the math department is buying calculators. And I know that seems like a lot of money, but some of those scientific calculators are very expensive, but that's what they've chosen to use that money on. Right below it, PO 439 to Action Safety Supply Company. We moved soccer to the SNU's turf football field that we also use for football, but we needed to paint soccer lines on it, and so that's what that one was for. PO 450 to Oklahoma Attorney General. So we had a opioid grant that we partnered with SNU, where we could use those funds and they could do some counseling. I believe it was 4 students here could go over there, and we estimated the amount of hours, but it just didn't end up being that many hours. And so they give us the funds up front, but some of that has to go back if you don't use it all. And so that's what that is.
And that is where we've sent students over there for counseling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've actually closed out the grant now, and so this is the final
This is the
process of
leftover. Okay, yes.
closing it out. Since
And then the last one I think I would go over on this page is 453 to Apple. Mr. Jewell's computer went completely out, so we had to put in a PO to get him a new computer. He takes that thing everywhere. I see him standing out there in the hall watching kids while he's working on it. So that's what that one is.
It's so bad.
And then I would take any questions from you guys.
Questions, guys? None? Do I have a motion? Item 7.
Yes, make a motion to approve the encumbrances as presented.
Second.
Here's a second. Roll call vote.
Palmer,
Yes.
Yates,
Yes.
Wallstead.
Yes. Item number 8, discussion and possible action to approve the revisions to the following board policies. FFACA, medication administering to students.
So this policy is our RAO came and looked. This was one of the policies. There was some language about epinephrine pens and things, so we had to take some things out. The only thing we can guess is that this maybe was attached to one of those things that we thought was optional, but it wasn't, and so they just said this you have to have in there, and so we're just adding this particular language back in because our RAO said we need to have that. It's basically just saying we'll call 911, which I would tell you we already have in practice. This is what we do, but somehow it got pulled out of that with that optional language that we had pulled out with it, so we're just putting it back in.
Excellent. Any questions? Have a motion?
Motion to approve the revisions to board policy FFACA.
Second.
A second. Roll call vote?
Palmer? Yes.
Yates.
Yes.
Wallstead.
Yes. Item number 9, discussion of possible action on the implementation of a Fellowship of Christian Athletes in the Bethany Middle School.
So this is something that they've had before, and it just kind of got dropped, and nobody really wanted to sponsor it. And now we have Coach Kenny Love, who would love to get that started back and be a part of with the kids, and come and do some activities with them. And so this is just something that everyone was excited to bring back. So we thought, well, yeah, if that's something that we want to do, and we have someone that is willing to sponsor it, then we would present it to you to see if that would be something we could put back in the middle school.
Thank you.
Great.
Questions?
I'll make a motion to approve the implementation of Fellowship of Christian Athletes in the Bethany Middle School.
Second.
Here in a second. Roll call vote?
Palmer.
Yes.
Yates.
Yes.
Wallstead.
Yes. Staff reports.
So maybe for tonight, we just see if there's anything you guys want to highlight, or you can just read it on your own for time's sake. We'll do that maybe tonight.
Certainly enjoy those. I would say, Heather, the story about the young man
Oh, yeah, so sweet.
was
Yeah.
incredible. Thank you for sharing that with us. It kind of goes along with what Ms. Troyer said, and it's just fantastic. So thank you.
Yeah, awesome.
Anyone have anything else for the staff reports? So thank you all for putting those
Sure.
those together. Lots going on, lots of activities.
Yeah.
End of the year is around the corner, isn't it? Spring break next week.
Spring is busy.
Absolutely crazy. Item 11, proposed executive session to discuss the employment of employees as listed in addendums A, B, and C, and to discuss the evaluation of the superintendent of schools as authorized by 25 OS 307B1.
I make a motion to convene
Second.
into executive session.
Yep.
Yeah, second.
Wallstead.
Yes.